Hello everyone, I'm Kote. Today I will tell you 5 stories about brain. Let's start with common myth that human uses only 10% of brain. Many motivational books saying that human uses only 10% and what will happen if he or she will use 100%. It's very common myth, but it's not realistic. Scientists now already have evidences that even listening music requires much more activity of the brain than its 10%. Also, doing mathematical problems requires much complex activity of brain, more than 10%, and this everything is evidence on MRI. MRI is magnetic resonance imaging, which can in which we can observe brain activity. Even dolphins and whales' brain are much more active than their 10%, and they navigating and they also have connections and social relationships in their social hierarchy. So they also using brain, not only humans. And now, second story is about brain itself. We can very simple and very clear have image what looks like brain and how it works. Hugest part of brain is cerebrum. This part of brain is cerebrum, and cerebrum is responsible on conscious thoughts, voluntary movements. What you see is this white. Everything is cerebrum. Inside cerebrum, inside the brain, there is limbic system. Limbic system consists of several components, but we will not elaborate them. But it has several components such as thalamus, hypothalamus, hippocampus, amygdala, but generally they are responsible on emotions, motivation and memory. So conscious we have on cerebrum, on the hugest part of the brain. Inside cerebrum we have limbic system, and limbic system is responsible on emotions. Here below this brown part of the brain is cerebellum, and cerebellum is responsible on balance and coordination. When we moving balanced and we can standing properly, it's cerebellum. If cerebellum is damaged, we can't maintain our balance. This green part below this brain, lower part of the brain, is brainstem. Brainstem is directly correlated to spinal cord. Here is spinal cord, and brainstem is responsible on vital signs such as breathing, heart rate, blood pressure. Such vital capacities are on brainstem. So brainstem is crucial for our living. But what makes us as humans? We makes as a humans is cerebrum. So this white part of the brain, which is hugest, is cerebrum. And thalamus is part of limbic system. You see it's inside brain, and it's responsible on pain and other senses such as smell and such things, and attention and wakefulness. For example, if person's thalamus is damaged, he can have coma. So awake and alertness is part of thalamus. That's most important parts of the brain, and this white part of the brain, cerebrum, uh, consists of two main parts, right and left. And these different parts are responsible on different characteristics and different skills of human. For example, left part is language, grammar, writing, reading. It's left part of the brain. Logical thinking is left part of the brain. Left part of the brain is responsible on logical thinking. It's also responsible on mathematical skills, responsible on science and scientific things, and it's about details. If you see person who always focus on details, he have well developed left brain. Now right brain. Right brain is totally about creativity, spatial. If person has good coordination in space and he can navigate in space, it's right brain. Emotional intelligence is right brain. And holistic thinking. If person can see whole picture and big picture, it's right brain, right side brain. So both side brain is needed, and we need both. Our third story is neuroplasticity. And what's neuroplasticity? If we return to our first myth, which was we only use less than 10% of brain, what it means? If we don't understand it literally, it's correct, because yes, we using our brain, but we also have space for development. And on this development, responsible is brain's ability to have neuroplasticity. Now, what means neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity means that brain can change strength of connectivity between itself. Here is neuron. This is neuron. Neuron is connected to another neuron, and brain works like this. We have neural network, and many neurons are interconnected with each other, and the strength of connection can be changed, and it's neuroplasticity. If this change is strong, it's neuroplasticity. And also it's possible to create new connections. It's also neuroplasticity. So it's possible to change this neural strength and create new connections also between neurons. It's part of neuroplasticity. And what it means? It means when we learning new things, when we learning new skills, new neuronal connections are created, and over time these connections are strength and strength if we exercise and exercise. That's neuroplasticity. So we have space to develop our brain, and it's neuroplasticity. Also, we of course, if we learn new skills, new subjects, it creates new connections in our brain. And what is evidence of neuroplasticity? Evidence is you can study anything, and it's already evidence of neuroplasticity. But we have another example also. For example, stroke recovery. If person has stroke, maybe it's half part of the body can't move at all, and over time with physical exercise he or she can start moving his parts. What it means medically, what it means, we have brain, right, and we have stroke. Some part of the brain is damaged and it's not functioning, right? And what's possible, and this part of the brain is not functioning anymore, and it cannot be recovered because it's dead already. This part is dead, but other part of the brain can start take responsible of these movements and this motion of another part. So new neural connections are created, and they are stronger and stronger over time, and it's stroke recovery. This is stroke recovery. This is evidence of neuroplasticity. And expertise and mastery. Why some people are develop expertise in their subject, in music, for example, in sport, for example, because then the neuronal connections are stronger and stronger over time. They exercise more, their connections are stronger and stronger. That's neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity gives our space for development. And last story is very simple. We use 100% of our brain. If we say literally and scientifically also, we're using 100% of our brain. We're using every part of the brain what we have, but in different situations we use different part of the brain. Of course it does not mean that we using 100% of brain same time. It does not mean this, but in different situations we using 100% of our brain, but we still have space for development. That's neuroplasticity. It maybe seems against logic that if we using 100% of our brain, how we can improve it, but we can. It's neuroplasticity, but we using 100% of our brain. If we summarize, we using our brains 100%. Even animals using almost whole potential of their brain. Hugest part of our brain is cerebrum, which is responsible of conscious and thinking and voluntary movements. We have left and right hemispheres, and left hemisphere is mathematical thinking and logical thinking. Right hemisphere is creativity and holistic thinking. We can develop our brain is neuroplasticity, and neuroplasticity means change strength of connections between neurons and create new connections. Thank you very much. Bye.